Welcome back, everyone. In this video, I want to show you all those things that we were talking about when it came to the actual DOM making updates. I mentioned how the virtual DOM is going to do some comparisons between a snapshot virtual DOM and an updating virtual DOM. And what it does is it modifies the actual DOM once it determines the correct things to re-render. So we can actually visualize this with a tool inside of Chrome DevTools. And I want to take a quick moment to show it to you. Here, in order for us to see this, what I'm going to do is make one quick modification where I'm going to bring in a title and a set title. And we're really just setting it up like this so that we can have more examples where we can visualize what's actually happening. So here, I'm going to duplicate our search box. I'm going to add a line break into our component, just so that we can see these two search boxes separated from each other. And instead of an on search change, I'm just going to copy this and call this on title change, because that's exactly what we're modifying. So we're really just duplicating the behavior of our search change handler with a title change handler. And the whole idea here is just that we want to set the title. And the reason why we want to set this title, so I'm going to put that there. Let's call this our title search box. So again, the reason why we're trying to set our title is because we want to visualize some of these changes, because we only want to modify certain parts of the page. And here you're going to see that. So let's just save this. Again, we've modified our title, so now we have this title. If we go back to the code, we see that we have this set title, and we see that we have no title. So as we start typing, you'll see this title appear. And again, our previous search bar functionality still works. What I do want you to notice about this is that inside of here, if we go to more tools, you want to click rendering. And what this will do is open up this screen where we can enable paint flashing. Paint is a terminology that is used by the DOM to determine what is actually being rendered or re-rendered onto the DOM itself. So when the DOM mounts nodes, modifies nodes, or takes node off, that is all repainting. So that process that we mentioned that is expensive for the DOM, that is the painting process. So here, what happens when we check this is that whenever components are being modified, you'll notice that they flash green. So whenever the DOM has to make any changes, repainting onto the DOM itself, then that node or that component or that element is going to flash green. So notice how when I refresh the page, we see all of it flash green. The reason for that is because everything is being mounted onto the page or painted onto the page for the very first time. So of course, all of those different things are going to flash green. Now, if I start typing into this title, I want you to notice something, that the first time I type, this entire page flashes green, but every subsequent character only modifies the actual title itself. Why is this? The reason for this is because of reflow. Remember when I mentioned that the DOM needs to reflow whenever a component gets added onto the site? It's not just exclusive to adding. As long as the layout needs to be shifted, in this particular case, when this H1 is empty, it has no height, even though the H1, you'll notice, is still actually on the website. The thing, though, is that it takes up no height right now. But the moment it starts taking up height, what happens is that it needs to shift the entire page down, because there is now a new element that is taking up space on the DOM. So that is reflow. Generally speaking, this reflow process is not that expensive. So it's okay if you see a lot of this green flashing from this. Really what you just want to notice is there are certain things that you want to work within an expected behavior. So if components are being added or removed from the page, you should expect reflow of the entire page. Another example is, let's say I start modifying search monsters here. As we type, you'll notice that as the cards get removed from the page, we're also reflowing the entire document. So this is also okay. You'll see this pattern pretty much everywhere in React applications. I just don't want you to be too surprised when you start seeing these big flashes everywhere. But the key thing to really notice, though, is just the fact that when components are being mounted and unmounted, there is this reflow going on, which is essentially a paint process. However, if everything is on the page and things are just being modified, well, again, you'll notice that React will make sure to only modify the portions that are relevant. And that's what's really great about this paint flashing tool, because we can really visualize the way that React determines how a component re-renders and which components re-render, and then in turn, which reflective nodes on the DOM tree to repaint. It's really just that step-by-step process that React goes through, helping us build out our UI. So hopefully, whenever you want to see what your components are re-rendering and what is being repainted, you can just remember, you want to go into your developer tools, you want to click these 3 dots, go to more tools, click on the rendering, and then enable paint flashing, and you'll see what gets re-rendered. So now that we have gone through and understood how the virtual DOM works, let's move on.